not to post draft minutes. I sat here in the same meeting when he said that.
I think in relation to what Peter brought up, the posting of draft minutes in relation to having the packet available, that is the current question.
And that question, so I have a question to ask, I guess, you, what is our technological capacity to produce a PDF packet?
No.
What would we need to do?
Now I was going to bring that up anyway. I need to, when I find a moment, we need a new printer. I mean, there's no question about it.
So if we have the right printer and the right software, like the
yeah,
right scanner and the right
PDF
software.
If we could scan something that would, you could actually feed scan, you know, it's a much different issue. But this, no, it's not possible. It's not possible to be able to manage documents on this one.
As a point of clarification, I believe when the budget was designed this year, we knew that a new printer, copier type, it was necessary, and I believe that it did the budget to make that. So I know that you haven't had time. I'm not.
I know. I need to really understand it and shop it and know what we need. I don't want to buy the wrong thing.
So if as a board we like the idea of a PDF packet that includes draft minutes, clearly marked as draft minutes, available to all of us and the public 72 hours in advance of the meeting, what is a reasonable deadline, do you think, for you to do the research on the technology? Yeah, I wanted to give you time. Yeah. If we agree that that's the direction we want to go, I want to give you time to get the technology in place.
Yeah.
What would it be reasonable that April, March, April?
Yeah, definitely.
So let's set April then.
For sure for the April packet, but yeah.
So then I would suggest that be the direction we go, and I'd be comfortable with that.
Yeah.
So.
If it's time for public comment, otherwise I'll just be happy to sit.
I'm not ready to go to public comment.
Okay, that's fine.
So, I agree with that, what's reasonable, but since this is such an important issue, and since this is all a volunteer board, with the exception of Diane, if the February and March board packets were ready on the Thursday before, I would take on the responsibility of scanning everything and putting the board packet together for those 2 months and sending a PDF to the board as a data.
But let me clarify that in tonight's packet, there's probably only 1 or 2 pages that needed to be scanned.
Actually, that's not true. There's, I don't know if you've actually looked through it, but there's a large document of financial statements that encompasses, my gosh, 29 pages. So that's kind of a big deal that would need to be part of the board packet for the public. And then going through, there's probably another 10, 12, and Diane prints front and back to save paper, so times that by 2. So it's quite a little job. Now, not every month is there this on, but I would be absolutely willing to volunteer to do this, to just start this ball rolling now, to take this off of our agenda and do what's right and do it sooner rather than later, and in the process shoot for April meetings and help the administrator do it. So I'm volunteering to do that.
As a clarification, Mike, I would be most comfortable if the way that the minutes were produced and had the actual draft watermark across it, so that it was very clear if anybody picks it up that it's not just like draft on the very top of the header, but actually across as a watermark.
And the board packets don't include committee minutes. I brought the facility minutes for the last 2 facility meetings that we've had that our minutes have been approved, so there's 2 meetings worth in December. And none of the other committees, I think, actually supply unless you dropped off the marketing and public outreach minutes. But so those aren't included in the board package, but they should still be available at the meeting.
But they're still available as PDFs.
But you know what? Actually, marketing public outreach, there's 8 agendas on our website. There is not one set of posted to approve minutes on the website for marketing public outreach.
We haven't been able to approve any minutes for quite a while.
Since the big roll like the last year. Well,
I don't want to get started. Anyway, so are we in agreement that that's something we'll do, and would you like me to do that?
Public comment.
I think that's a great.
We'll touch base with Diane, and I'll help you make some. And you've got that time for a couple of months, and then we'll have it done on the Friday before the board meeting. It'll be on the list.
Phil, yes, Phil, did you want to say something like that?
When you, may I ask you a question, Diane?
Sure.
When you put together the minutes that are going in, the minutes of the previous board meeting that are going to be going into the packet that was here this evening,
Right.
what program do you type those in?
Oh, those are just in Word.
And do you realize that you can immediately convert a Word document into a PDF
Yes, I do.
so that there's no scanning involved?
No, but what I'm saying is we have to get the whole packet organized and together and all the different documents organized and together, that's all.
Okay, and what I'm...
No, I know how to save PDFs, yeah.
Oh, okay, without having to scan anything. There's no point in scanning anything. But was it budget stuff, Kath, that you were talking about? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, not at all.
That 9-page, that piece that you have in your hand came from whom?
Obviously, the auditor, because,
It was the auditor.
yes,
And did he send it to you in Excel?
Not yet, no.
So how did...
It's not an Excel file, but I need to talk with our auditor. We just got these in the mail. Josh-
So they sent them, physically sent them to you.
Physically sent.
But somewhere on their system, they could have converted all of that to a PDF for you as well.
Well, what I'm saying, Zelda, is these were given to the board. These are our preliminary financial statements, and Larry will provide us with electronic versions when these are basically blessed, no questions, no problems. This is the first they've seen them. I've only had them a couple days.
Okay, so it's
But we will ultimately
been...
have them PDF. These will be on our website.
So what you're saying to me,
Absolutely.
is you did not receive these for them to be in the board packet until after your personal deadline. In other words, you work Tuesday through Thursday,
Correct.
and by the end of work Thursday, that board packet, as you had it,
Has to be available.
has to be available.
Right.
And it would never have been available with that material because it arrived too late, right? If somebody came...
Well, I mean, even certain things I received today, you know, I mean, this happens.
No, I can understand that. I can certainly understand that. So there are always things that probably
There's
won't be...
always exceptions, exactly.
I understand that. And so I think that I can't, at the very least, the minutes are something that's easy peasy for you to put out online as a draft piece because you've already got the equipment to do that.
But the problem is that the decision has not been made as far as...
Posting them. No, I understand, but there was a very lengthy discussion about how difficult this would be and how much of your time and the software that you needed to get and
No,
its
not
new...
software, we just need a printer that works. In other words, ultimately, what we'd like to have is one nice, neat agenda, board packet that goes along with the agenda, not piecemeal documents all over the place. And that's unfortunately what I'm dealing with the printer that I have. Even though, yes, we can save PDF files, pasting them all together and having a bunch of blind documents that people don't know what they're working with, it's a much better idea to take the entire board packet in its complete printed format, scan it, boom, 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 so it's one scanned document and people can follow along.
Oh.
This just makes more sense.
No,
for everyone.
it makes more sense to you. I can understand that. But believe me, it makes no sense to me and is antithetical to the digital age in which we are all living.
Well,
No, I understand where you're coming from, and it makes perfectly good sense to me. I'm simply saying to you, when you say we all, I don't agree. That's all. Thank you, Steve.
We're getting into detailed solutions.
Sorry, I don't come to these meetings very often, but it seems like a public comment is really time for the public to make a comment and not to engage in an argument with members of the board or staff. I think our time is better used if you guys can make decisions and we can just express our opinion.
Public comment? Actually, I have a public comment about the issue at hand.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. What Diane is saying about needing a printer is actually not true. Zelda is correct. PDFs, you save them from Word docs. What you need is a program to compile the PDFs. Do you have that? No, we don't. Well, then that's what you need. You don't need a new printer. You need a We do need a printer anyway, that's, it's a
Yeah,
whole
not
other
every
issue, yeah.
single
Yeah.
piece of the board
Okay,
packet.
that's, all right,
Like correspondence has to be, that's someone's
But she
letter.
still has to do it anyway
Yeah, those all.
to print. But to
Okay.
print the packet anyway, you don't need to scan additional things for a PDF.
Well, we're gonna start beginning February
okay,
to have the board packet.
we'll get down to the details.
We'll get-
Okay.
Would you like the minutes from the June 4th meeting that says that it wasn't a policy, that it was not a vote or anything?
We have
Well, we did never say we didn't say it was a vote.
No, a policy.
It was a discussion.
It was a discussion, but it wasn't a policy.
I'm not sure we even said it was a policy.
You have
No,
said
it's
it's
just
a policy.